In today's video, we're going to be looking at rotations. So when you rotate something, just like you would with a tire or any other object you would rotate, you're turning it across an axis. So another word for rotate is to turn. So we're going to turn geometric figures in today's video. Now, there's different degrees where you can turn them. You can turn them 90 degrees, you can turn them 180 degrees, or you can turn them 270 degrees. And it's so important to know the difference between all three of those rotations. And also, it is important that you know what direction they turn in. So clockwise. So if you know with a clock turns in this direction, follow my mouse, right? Counterclockwise goes in this direction. All right. So those are the two things you got to be aware of when we're doing these rotations. All right. So let's take a look at our figure. All right, so it says, follow the guide instructions to rotate this figure 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. So we're going to draw a circle centered at the center of rotation such that one of the vertices of the figure is on the circle. So I'm going to click and drag a circle to create a circle that lies on one of the points on this the figure. All right. Then it says click and drag a line through the yellow center and the vertex on the circle. All right. So I'm click and dragging another point that makes a line. All right. So if I wanted to rotate this figure 180 degrees, it would end up all the way over here. Right? This would go 180 degrees, but I want to go 90 degrees. So in order to go 90 degrees, I have to find the line that goes perpendicular to it, the line that makes a 90-degree angle. So if I went left 3, down 2 to get to this one, I would have to go left 1, up 3 to get to the perpendicular one. So basically going left and down, you're instead going left and up. So it makes a circle with 90-degree angles in it. So basically this is how I would rotate this 90 degrees clockwise. So if I want to rotate this point, I have to click it and drag it using the red dot. So you're going to click and drag this, and this would turn 90 degrees. This would be 180. This would be 270. All right. But for this one, we're just going to 90 degrees. And we're going to take a look at the points and how they compare to each other. So -3, -1, right, became what? What did it become? -1, +3. -1, +3. So how did you notice what happened in the pre-image to the image? All right. So you notice that the ones and the threes switched, right? These two switched to get 1, 3. And you also, since it's in the second quadrant, all the signs in this quadrant are going to be negative, positive. So that's how you would do this one. Instead of 2, 7, you're going to write 7, 2. And since it's in the second quadrant, it's going to be negative, positive. So -7, +2. -8, -1, you're going to switch those numbers, 1, 8, 1, 8, and negative, positive. So all of these signs and each of these points are going to be the same, right? Because you're going in the second quadrant, it's all going to be negative, positive. So when you rotate something 90 degrees, you switch the numbers, and you give it the appropriate signs of that quadrant. All right. And look at that. Beautiful 90-degree rotation. All right. And try the values. You are correct. And now you're going to submit and get credit. All right. Yes. Okay. So let's look at a similar problem. All right. Let's do 180. So the same thing. We're going to click and drag and make a circle that hits one of the points. Then we're going to click and drag and make a line that goes through that same point. Now I went right 4, down 2. So that means I got to go right 2 up 4 to make the perpendicular. Okay. So then I'm going to drag it. Was 180 degrees. So it doesn't matter what you go 180 degrees. It doesn't matter if you go this way, clockwise. So that's counterclockwise. This is clockwise all the way there. It's still, no matter what way you rotate 180 degrees, it's always going to end up in the same spot. Okay. So this point right here, 4, -2, became -4, +2. -4, +2. So would you notice here the numbers stay the same? So 4, 2 stay the same. So these numbers are going to be the same, 7, 2, 7, 6. But again, since it's in the second quadrant, all of these coordinates are going to have negative, positive signs. So it's all going to be negative here, all going to be positive here. Try the values. You are correct. You want to animate it just to see that it turns 180 degrees, and it does. All right, submit that. Let's try another one. We already did 180. Let's go 90 in another direction. Does it go 90 counterclockwise? I don't think it does. Let's see. If it doesn't, then we'll just do a 270 one. Okay. All right, 270. All right. So again, click and drag. Make your circle there. Right. Click and drag to make the line that goes through that point. Then, all right, I went left 2 up 1. That means I gotta go right 1 up 2. Just switch the numbers around and make your 90 degrees. Now I'm going 270 degrees clockwise. So again, clockwise. So there's 90, 180, 270. All right, so -2, 1 became -1, -2. And since it's in the third quadrant, so what? Or let me ask this first. These numbers again got switched. So -2, 1 became -1, -2. So the 2's and the 1 switches. That means I'm going to switch the 5, 1 to 1, 5. The 4, 7 to 7, 4. All right. And again, since it's in the third quadrant, right? The third quadrant, the sign scheme of the third quadrant is negative, negative. So all of these points are going to be negative, negative. Okay. Try the values. They are correct. And you submit. Bam. All right. Let's do one more. Let's do 270 counterclockwise. Okay. Click and drag, make our circle. Boom. Click and drag and make our line. Boom. All right, this went right 4 up 2. That means this is going to go left 2, up 4. Bam. 270 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going against the clock. So I'm clicking and dragging this to go. All right, this is 90, 180, 270 right here. So my 0.42 became 2, -4. 2, -4. So again, the numbers were switched. So 6, 1 becomes 1, 6. And 8, 4 becomes 4, 8. All right. But the sign scheme of the fourth quadrant is positive, negative. So all these points here have a positive, negative sign scheme. So positive, negative, positive, negative. All right. So that's the key into doing these problems. When it rotates 90 degrees or 270, basically 90 degrees is 270 in the opposite direction, right? If I went 90 degrees clockwise, it would still end up here. That's the same thing as 270 counterclockwise. So whenever you're rotating something 90 or 270, you switch the numbers, So 4, 2 becomes 2, 4, and then you have to give it the appropriate sign scheme. When you do one with a 180, basically you're just switching the signs. Let's see if I can find another 181. All right, again, right here. I'm going to do this one quick. All right. So that one, right 4, down 2, left 2, up 4. Oops. So this is what happens. I do it quick. Right 2, up 4. All right. If I turn it 180, right? So 4, -2 becomes -4, +2. So I just switch the signs. That's another shortcut. So you can just switch the signs. So you don't switch the number, you just switch you change the signs. I should say change the signs, not switch the signs. So you're changing it from 7 -2 to -7 +2, and -7 +6. So you're negating the signs, I should say, not switching them. All right. So these with the 180, you just take the opposite of it. So the opposite of 7 is -7. The opposite of -6 is +6. So the 180s are pretty simple. The 90s and 270s, those are a little bit more more advanced on knowing what to do. All right. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. And remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.